Shalom. Kalala Yamla Yahawa Basham Yahushai Basham Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and blessings to the elect. Aquire. Alright, across the four corners of the world, pushing this word out in sincerity and in truth. And again, this here is one from the Great Millstone camp in Trinidad. Coming back again with another lesson. Through the spirit and power, Yahweh Basham Yahushai, Basham Kodash. And yeah, basically, the lesson. Matter of fact, let me read a precept and I will get to the lesson after. Job chapter 9 and verse 24, and it says, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" Alright, and that dealing with the so-called white people, the Edomites. Because when you read in the book of Malachi chapter 1 verse 1, it says, "The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. It says, I have loved you, saith the Lord Yahweh. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith Yahweh? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness." Verse 4, "Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever." And the name of this lesson is, why does NATO and the EU spearhead everything that goes on the earth today? Why do they have the most power on the face of the earth today? And that is because of prophecy. That is not prophecy. That is not because the so-called white man was so wise to gain power. The Most High put him up in the power seat. We get a precept to prove that. Psalms chapter 75 and verse 5, and it says, "Lift not up your horn on high. Speak not with a stiff neck, being proud. For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south, but the Most High is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another." He does do that, the Lord Yahweh. He puts down one, he sets up another. He governs in the kingdom of men. He rules this earth in the palm of his hand, the supreme Yahweh. And he gave all the power unto his son, Yahweh Shai. Alright, so you worship Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. Daniel 4 verse 17, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and set it up over it the basis of men." The basis of men. And the rulers of this earth right now are the Edomites. The lowest are the low, are the lowest are the low. But they have the most power on the earth. Why? This is in Google. I typed up most powerful countries in the world 2019. It's hard to define, and it says it's hard to define the world's most powerful countries. But the US News and World Report, in partnership with BAV Group and the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, has found a way to rank the world's most powerful countries in its best country ranking. This report is based on a survey of more than 21,000 people from 4 regions around the world. Respondents were asked to associate 80 countries with 5 attributes. Those attributes include military alliances, international alliances, political influence, democracy, economic influence, financially, the monetary system, and leadership. It says, according to the 2018 survey, the United States is the world's most powerful country. Scriptures coming to mind, Revelation 17, the whore that sits on top of the beast. Alright? The little horn, Revelation 13. It says, coming behind the US in the number 2 spot is Russia, followed by China. The top 5 countries on the list remain unchanged in their rankings when compared to the previous year's survey. The top 25 most powerful nations according to the 2018 Best Countries report are the United States. Let me show you something here right now. Now remember, in this beast, you're going to have some countries partly strong and partly broken. NATO and the EU countries. NATO countries. NATO was an alliance formed in 1949 to combat the Soviet Union. Soviet Union has been then dismantled since 1991, but yet NATO still continues to be in existence because that is the beast written in Revelation chapter 17. Beast wasn't an actual dragon or some freaking entity dealing with nations ruling the earth from ever since. And those who know the Bible will understand that. Step out instead of talking in the ass. Right, so let me look up NATO, right? NATO countries, right? Let me compare the NATO countries with the most powerful countries in the world. Who presides over the most powerful countries in the world? The scriptures say partly strong and partly broken in Daniel's 2nd chapter, which we will get. Some will be strong militarily, economically, politically, leadership wise. Some will be a little weaker, but all of them in one. Hey, the scriptures on point. Kalalayamla Yahawaba Shamya Oshai, the scriptures on point. Shit. Man, countries like Luxembourg, countries like Denmark, they aren't so strong militarily, but all of them in one, all of them together, partly strong and partly broken. NATO countries, North Atlantic Treaty Organization members 2019. What does NATO stand for? NATO is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It is an intergovernmental military alliance between countries in North America and Europe. This is to help each other militarily to fight against their common enemy, which is their own brother, the Edomites in Russia. Remember, Esau is Cain. Esau always hate his brother, so he go always fight against you. And a kingdom divided against itself shall not stand. So let me see. When was NATO formed? NATO was formed in formed following World War II. Its founding treaty was signed in Washington, D.C. 1949 by a dozen European and North American countries. Why was it formed? You could read that for yourself. Now let me look at NATO founders. In hindsight, this is really 10 countries. In hindsight, the founders is really 10 countries, because US and Canada is one. I thought it was Ireland. No, it's 12 countries. That's my bad. But sometimes, like at Ireland and the UK, them go come together as one. The US and Canada will come together as one. And then different other, because there are countries that break off from other countries and whatnot. But that's our next topic for next time. And then they become their own independent country and whatnot. But let me read some of these founding countries, right? The 12 founding members of NATO are Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, UK, US. NATO members, right. So now, NATO countries, North Atlantic Treaty Organization by population 2019. Right, so you have Albania, right, which is our NATO country. Belgium, which is weak. Remember, we dealing with militarily. Remember the beast. Which we go get the precepts in my head, and I'll bring it out. Well, just now, let me read this. Albania, weak. Belgium, not as strong as the United States. You have Bulgaria. You have Canada, Croatia, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Latvia, Lithuania. Boom, boom, boom. You have the UK. You have the US, Turkey, and Spain, whatnot, so forth and so on. If you look at the most powerful countries in the world, you have the US. The US is part of NATO. You have the Russians. The Russians is mentioned in Daniel, Revelation 13. When it talks about the feet, and the feet was the feet of a bear, that is the Russians, because they are all Edomites, and the feet represents the end of something, just like the statue in Daniel, the 2nd chapter. The feet represented the end, and right after the feet, the stone came and crushed from the feet, and the whole statue was destroyed, right? The Russians, they are powerful, but they are not a part of NATO. You are Chinese, they are not a part of NATO. You are the Germans, they are part of NATO. They are powerful. You are the UK, they are part of NATO and they are powerful. You are the French, they are part of NATO and they are powerful. You have you have Japan, you have Israel. America rules Israel. Saudi Arabia. America had a hands in Saudi Arabia. He's the might over there in the power seat. Right? You have the Netherlands, which is a part of NATO as well. Is it strong militarily? No. Not as the US and the UK and Germans. But yeah, Spain. Is Spain as strong as militarily as the US and the UK? No. Showing you what? Partly strong, partly broken as well too. Right? So let me go. Yeah, what? Yeah, Canada. Canada is a part of NATO. Right? You have Turkey. Turkey, which is also a part of NATO. Let's now show you that. Turkey, which is also a part of NATO. Turkey, see that? NATO countries. Seeing that? Poland. You're seeing Spain, you're seeing Turkey. You're seeing UK, you're seeing US. Huh? Seeing that? Right. Snow. Right, so we have these most powerful countries here. We have these countries here, right? We're going on. You have Belgium, which is a part of NATO, not as strong militarily. Netherlands, which is a part of NATO, 25th. Luxembourg, a part of NATO, partly strong and partly broken, and presiding over all these countries are Edomites. Right? This is why they have all this power. Estonia, Latvia, these are parts of NATO as well. But they don't have military power like Latvia, seeing it? Greece, NATO countries. But they don't have military power like they don't have military power like the US, like the UK. All these nations and majority of these countries in the EU as well. Majority of these countries in the EU as well. Is Daniel chapter 2. Now this video ain't gonna be as short, you know. It might have a lot of listening to understand. But hopefully it edifying through the Spirit. Now this Daniel chapter 2. Now this is Daniel chapter 2 and verse. I read from verse 1. It says, and I will jump around, but I read from verse 1. And in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. Then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans, for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. Right? So Nebuchadnezzar dreamt a dream. He dreamt dreams, right? Now, if you read through the story, the kings and the astrologers and the Chaldeans and the stargazers and them, they couldn't break down the dream to Nebuchadnezzar. And Nebuchadnezzar say he can't tell them what the dream is. All they're dealing with some God. All your God surely. Now Daniel, the prophet, got the revelation from his God, Yahweh. Verse 19, it says, then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the Most High of heaven. Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. Jumping down. Verse 26, the king answered and said unto Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, art thou able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen, and the interpretation thereof? Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king had demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king. But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets, and make it known the thing to the king. Make it known to the king, Nebuchadnezzar, what shall be in the latter days, thy dream and the visions of thy head upon thy bed are these. As for thee, O king, thy thoughts came into thy mind upon thy bed, what should come to pass hereafter, and he that revealeth secrets make it known to thee, what shall come to pass. But as for me, the secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for their sakes that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Right. So I went up and I looked up the image of the what Daniel saw. So I'm gonna play it, right? Meanwhile I will read. Right. It says on your right hand side of the screen. It says this great image. It says right, verse 32, right? Daniel 2 verse 32. The image's head was of gold, was of fine gold. His breasts, it says fine gold, right? The image's head. It says his breast and his arms of silver. Right? So you're seeing that right there. It says his belly and his thighs of brass. You're seeing that right there. Right? His legs of iron. His legs of iron. His feet, part of iron and part of clay. It says, thou sawest till that stone, feet part of iron and part of clay. Right? So you see that, right? Part of iron and part of clay. I'll play it over while I'm reading. It says, thou sawest till the stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, the gold, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. This is the dream, and we will tell thee the interpretation before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the power of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field, the fowls of the heaven, hath he given into thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest that the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it the strength of iron. NATO, the EU, the divided here, because Edomites don't dwell with Edomites, but they had the strength of iron, the powerful. They are the most powerful countries in the world. For as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. And in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Verse 45, for as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great power of heaven had made known to the king, what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof is sure. And that right there, what we in right now is the iron and the miry clay. Iron because the Roman Empire was strong as iron. And this is the revival of the Roman Empire, what we in here right now. So you have these nations. America, the most powerful nation on the earth, right? Global power rank first. This is why this is the whore that rides the beast. This is why you Edomites in power. It is prophesied. And right after all there was prophesied to rule, you have the Israelites. You see that iron, that feet with iron and miry clay? That is the US, powerful US, the powerful Germans. Right? So we see Nebuchadnezzar was the head of gold. So to show you that. See that, right? The powerful Germans, the somewhat powerful French, which is also a part of that beast. But America rules over them. Israel, America have them in the pocket too. Canada, they also are part of NATO, but they are not as powerful as the US. They don't have the power like US. Canada not so strong like America. America is very strong militarily. 800 billion in military equipment last year alone. You have Turkey. Turkey are weight, but not as powerful as US. All these nations formed an alliance known as NATO.